Welcome to episode 73. Today I'm going to be taking you through how to create your guest blogging strategy.
Welcome to the Web Marketing That Works podcast. Come behind the scenes of real-life marketing experiments and listen in as amazing guests confess the truth about what really works. Now, here are your hosts, Adam Franklin and Toby Jenkins.
Hi there, my name is Toby Jenkins and this is the Web Marketing That Works podcast. Thanks so much for joining me. This show, as always, is about sharing the good, the bad and the ugly behind real-life marketing experiments and is brought to you by our book, Web Marketing That Works, and specifically the bonus 33 free templates that go with it. So if you'd like to download those, you can get them from bluewiremedia.com.au/book. So let's jump into it. Now, this particular show is an experiment for me on two fronts. And firstly, it's my first solo show, so please bear with me. It's going to be fun. Secondly, I'm going to take the content for today's show from a guest blog post that I wrote for ProBlogger. Now, this post was entitled, How to Create Your Guest Blogging Strategy, and then in brackets with a 5-step template. And that template is available on our website, and it's also a part of those templates you can download. But this particular article had over 60 comments and has been shared hundreds of times. And so I thought, well, along with the questions that we've been receiving about how do I do guest blogging, is it worthwhile, what are the pros, what are the cons, this was where I put my best thinking into this blog post. So I thought this could be an interesting format to share it with you as audio as well. So now basically the blog post itself was inspired when Adam came back from attending ProBlogger's event on the Gold Coast, and this was in 2014, and he returned fired up with a whole bunch of take-homes. And one of the things is that Darren spoke about the success being a matter of doing ordinary things, and specifically to put readers first, to be useful, to find your rhythm, create meaning, and persist. So I'll just repeat those. So put your readers first, be useful, find your rhythm, create meaning, and persist. And this inspired me to share this particular guest blogging story. And there are some guest blogging practices that have been frowned upon by Google. And this whole episode here today will really, the stuff I'm talking about is not frowned upon by Google. There's spammy, useless recycling of content, all those sorts of things. Nobody wants that. Nobody likes to read it. Google doesn't like to see it, so just steer clear of all of that. But the core of what I wanted to talk to you about today was high-value blogging, and particularly via influencer outreach. And again, as I said, because we've been asked a ton of questions about this lately, I thought it was a good time to address it. So if creating great content is the first step, then promoting your content is a crucial second step. And guest blogging is a really powerful way to do just that, as you get to write for a whole new audience. So it's not just your own audience, obviously, that you can add value to, but you're getting your content in front of new eyeballs. And that's hugely valuable, as well as it helps from a search engine standpoint as well. But anyway, there's a bunch of things and benefits that I will go through. But I just wanted to, as well as helping you dodge some of those key mistakes and planning your guest blogging strategy, will really help you to find and evaluate the best blogging opportunities for you and your business. So I wanted to share a story first up about when I blogged for a fellow Aussie blogger, Jeff Bullis. And Jeff's blog is jeffbullis.com. So that's JEFFBULLAS.com. And Jeff was ranked number 11 on the Forbes list of social media power influencers. And he accepted a post that Adam has actually already spoken about on this podcast, which was the 6 critical types of social media you must plan for. And I had some really exciting results from that. And so that particular guest post for Jeff helped us hit a record month in website traffic, and it also sent a whole bunch of people through to our landing pages. So we created a negative comments response template for social media as a landing page. And it went from really very few, maybe 5 or 10 at best, up to 100 plus in terms of people visiting that landing page and opting in to download that premium piece of content, the negative response template. Now, this particular piece as well has now been shared over 4,000 times as well on Jeff's social community, because Jeff has a huge social media following. He has about over 300,000 Twitter followers, I think. So obviously a very powerful community behind Jeff. The other benefit was it caught the attention of national media in Australia. And so when we sent this post to our email subscribers, a journalist replied and asked if I was interested in writing an op-ed piece for Fairfax Media, which is one of the largest media companies in Australia. And of course, I agreed to that. So I wrote a more concise op-ed piece that was titled "He's Been Questioned by Police," and it was published in the Sydney Morning Herald homepage 2 days later, and then syndicated across all 50 online Fairfax publications and 3 blogs. So as you can imagine, for people who are interested in SEO, that's 50 backlinks that were generated by a single blog post, and from news websites that have great domain authority and influence. And so I was able and fortunate to have that follow backlink in my bio. And so we were able to generate backlinks, watch the traffic spike. We obviously gained a lot of qualified subscribers. And really, the article had really struck a chord, and it really helped to reinforce that idea that guest blogging is a really powerful tool. So why did we approach Jeff Bullis? Well, aside from being a Forbes social media power influencer, there are a number of strategic reasons why I had asked Jeff specifically for that blog post. In short, he has a huge popular social media marketing blog, as I said, www.jeffbullis.com, and has tons of followers, 300,000 plus on Twitter. And we've also built a strong relationship with him over the years. And I also knew that he accepted high quality guest posts. So having aspired to write for Jeff's blog for a long time, I thought this would be a great example to use as we go. So the guest blogging strategy template, as I said, is available for download on our website, bluewiremedia.com.au/guest-blogging-strategy-template. Or if you just download the 33 free templates that are available on our site at /book, this will be downloaded with it. So the first step in developing your guest blogging strategy is to brainstorm your targets. And it doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out process. If you just take 15 minutes to brainstorm and list some of the blogs that you'd like to write for. And if you think about it, then an easy way might be to simply Google blogs in your niche, for example, social media blogs or gardening blogs. Large or small, seemingly impossible or really easy, just write them down. Because sometimes this can feel like you have way too many options, and that's okay, because the next couple of steps are all about helping you prioritize your target blogs. So remember, first step, brainstorm your targets. So domain authority. So what you want to do is research your numbers. And in this next section, I'll be talking through the relevant numbers for your guest blogging strategy. Using Moz's Open Site Explorer tool is one of the fastest ways to check domain authority. And again, this link will be in the notes, but Open Site Explorer, if you look for that, you'll find Moz's tool. JeffBullis.com has a domain authority of 71 out of 100, which is really strong. So the higher you go, the stronger your authority is. For instance, Google.com is 100 out of 100. Facebook.com is 100 out of 100. Blue Wire Media is 46 out of 100. Forbes.com, for instance, is 97. So anyway, Jeff's website obviously is considered highly authoritative with 71 out of 100 as his score. So that Open Site Explorer tool by Moz, and Moz also have a plugin that you can use with Chrome that enables you to quickly check the domain authority of any website. So that's a great way. That's a first number that you want to run against your target list of blogs that you might like to write for. The second number that you want to target is the traffic rank. So Alexa is the tool here. If you Google Alexa traffic rank, you will most definitely find it. And again, JeffBullis.com had a global rank of 6,531. And on this particular number, the lower you go. So if you were number one, you might be Facebook.com actually. You might be the number one for traffic. But Alexa uses tools and technology to understand what ranking you have, and every single website has, from a ranking of 1 being the most visited website to infinity, or however many there are. So Jeff's website, the fact that he's at 6,539, in fact, was his global rank, meant that he gets a ton of traffic each month, which was really good. Now, the next number that might be useful in terms of filtering your target blogs is the number of email subscribers. Jeff doesn't actually publish his email subscriber list numbers, but many do. ProBlogger, for instance, has 321,000 or over 321,000. Buffer App is over 31,000. Convince and Convert has over 21,000. So there are lots of blogs that publish their subscriber numbers, and that's another way of establishing the value of writing for these big blogs, because if you can get a blog post published, then that will be shared with 300,000 subscribers on ProBlogger, for instance. So that's a really powerful way of getting your best content in front of new eyeballs. Another number you can use to filter those target blogs is blog subscribers. So to do this, we use a tool called Feedly. That's Feedly, Feedly, and Feedly can help you to identify how many blog subscribers a given blog has. Another number we use your social media follower numbers as well. So Jeff has over 300,000, as I mentioned, Twitter followers, and I think he's got over 30,000 Facebook fans as well. So those numbers are really important in terms of identifying who has audiences, how valuable is this particular blog post going to be for you, but also then, so that helps you to filter what target and which particular blog you should write for first. So the third element then is the people and outreach element. And as a part of your research, it's worth finding out who the contact person is for each blog and their email address. So the strength of your relationship with Jeff, he has built an incredible audience and following and reputation, and we deliberately got to know him because we felt there was a ton we could learn from him back in the day. And so over numbers of years, we've come to know him in person. We've interviewed him on our podcast. We have interviewed him in person as well. We have also had him speak at our Social Media Down Under conference. And because we knew Jeff well, obviously he trusted our work, he knew us, and was therefore more likely to trust our content and to post and share it with his audience. So when it comes to outreach time, then in that particular instance, I wrote Jeff a short email saying, and you can see the exact wording that I used in terms of the outreach. But basically I said, I've written a blog post that could help drive interest during this product launch week, and I thought you might be interested. I've made it editable and I shared it with him as a Google Doc, and I had titled it the 6 social media comments every marketer must plan for. Now Jeff then went ahead, he tweaked the title and posted it the next day. And so that was an awesome result. I guess the point worth emphasizing here though is that Jeff is a really high value power blogger. So without our long getting to know you process, our chances of acceptance would have been much slimmer. And you'll see that it's really taken years of proactively getting to know Jeff, and that the final email and the reach out is almost the final stage of following a really, becoming friends and getting to know someone professionally and knowing their audience as well, which is the other part that I will talk about very soon. But look, you don't always get accepted, and we certainly have not always had our posts accepted. But if you do get knocked down, don't let it get down and just keep at it and keep looking for another blog that will accept your post. So another really important component, and this is the fourth component to creating your guest blogging strategy, is content and SEO. And the first question to ask yourself is, how interesting is your content going to be to their audience? Not how important is it for you, but how interesting to their audience is this going to be? Because it's so important to make sure that you tailor the content for them. And I mean, the reason that I thought my blog post had a chance was because I knew Jeff spoke about social media and a lot. And in fact, he had a previous social media comments article that he had written up, although it was somewhat different to mine. So I was able even to link into other posts that he had on his blog, which is really valuable, because ultimately making your content interesting to their audience is the single biggest factor in the success of your guest blogging. Because so understanding the different angles for your story that will enable you to tell it to different audiences is a deal maker and breaker. Because if your content isn't relevant to their audience, doesn't matter how good it is, how well written it is, they're not even going to look at it. So I'd really encourage you to make sure that you understand what style of content they're doing. So for instance, I wrote another blog post for a cloud accounting software business called Sasu, and that particular blog post was entitled How to Use Your Financial Reviews to Improve Your Marketing. And it was all about aligning your marketing reviews with your financial reviews, on a monthly, quarterly, annual basis. And so therefore it's relevant to their audience. Another example of this I wrote for outsourcing giant Odesk /Elance now about how to manage remote marketing projects. And that particular one was called 10 Minutes Can Transform Your Remote Projects. So crafting your stories and crafting your content to make sure that it's going to be interesting to the blogs that you're aspiring to have your blog post on then is just absolutely crucial. From an SEO standpoint, the other thing is I made sure that I had my bio linking back to our website. So specifically where people can download the 33 free marketing templates, and I had a call to action to download the negative comments response template, which was really specific to that article that I'd written for Jeff. And so I'd actually gone through and done some keyword research using a tool called Keyword Toolio, which is free, by the way. And again, if you Google that, Keyword Toolio, Toolio, then you'll find that tool. And then that's all the planning that you need. And the activity then, once you've got that plan in place, the activity is figuring out who is going to do what. So it's a matter of getting in, writing the article, hitting your deadline, and giving yourself the best chance of success. So I really hope that you find this guest blogging strategy podcast has explained the process that you can follow for this, the guest blog post in detail with all the links to all those tools that I've discussed will be available in the show notes here, or you can just Google guest blogging strategy template and Blue Wire Media and you will find it. But I would really love to hear your questions if you have any down in the comments of this podcast, or alternatively just send them in and I can try to answer those in another episode. But thank you so much. Really appreciate you joining me for this show. Now, as always, this show is brought to you by our 33 free web marketing templates. You can download them at bluewiremedia.com.au/book. We're here to try to deliver actionable advice. So we'd love your questions and feedback. And if you have guest suggestions too, you can contact me about any of this guest blogging strategy work or any questions that you might have. I am on email, toby.jenkins@bluewiremedia.com.au, or I'm on Twitter and my handle is @Toby_Jenkins. And please, if you did enjoy the show, we'd really appreciate it if you could leave a review on iTunes. So until next time, thanks very much.